Hello everyone, it's Dmitry Anoshin and Surfalytics. This is our lesson number 4 of the Model 3. There we talk about business intelligence. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I don't have the goal to create new BI course or course about Tableau or anything because there are so many great resources out there. So my goal is to actually, using my knowledge, 15 years in this industry with business intelligence, data warehouse, data engineering, supporting different business domains and industries, to help you to faster find the tools and ideas that will help you to get the fundamental knowledge and show you how you can fast progress in your career. If you want to actually do more hands-on and more practice, then you definitely need to join our Surfalytics. We have also 7 weeks trial. There we have the mock interviews. You will know about what's the salary expectations for your market, what's the talking points, is what actually HR and hiring manager looking for data engineers, data analysts, and BI developers or analytics engineer. Today we'll talk about a very interesting topic, MOLAP versus ROLAP. Nowadays, those words or topics not very popular. The only thing you might see, and this is very popular used by different vendors, OLTP versus OLAP. Just remind you, what does mean OLTP? Online transaction processing. This kind of databases that might be same database, for example, Postgres for OLTP, this is Postgres for OLAP, right? Same database, but the purpose is using for backend, right? This like transactional. In Model 1, we talk about online store. The online store have backend. As soon as you create the order, your transactions should be very fast. And especially if you 100 orders creating at the same time, the concurrency and everything should be very fast without collision. So it has some requirements for how it's reliable, how it's fast. The only downside of those systems is the performance. If you decide to query, okay, how many orders do I have for last 2 years? It probably can take you a while. That's why there is alternative like analytical data systems. If here we talk about denormalization or normalizations, especially third normal form, and this is more important for data engineers, TL developers, and we'll talk more about this in the Model 4. But for now, just it's just about backend. And on the other hand, they claim there is OLAP. OLAP usually means analytical queries. And very simple example, let's query 2 years of data and see how many orders did we sell. They could be way more calculated using some window functions. And usually we using like dimensional modeling, our data is denormalized, and we have often highly aggregated data with our data engineering pipelines. And you see, for example, users, decision makers in OLAP, that makes sense, like people from business users who are using BI tools versus information system experts. And normalization, data, or some kind different terms, doesn't really matter. They matter only like a couple examples that I shared. And here you might get the question, what's star schema versus snowflake schema? Is it aggregated or raw data? Another thing that's very important, because if we coming back to those terms, MOLAP and ROLAP, they actually historically means very different term. And I think now in many cases, vendors trying to reuse it, as usually, they have a lot of money, they're spending money into marketing, and they're trying to sell their product. And that's why it's very important to understand the fundamental knowledge that it would be harder to fool you, especially when vendor pitching their solution that is like silver bullet can solve all your problems. Let's try to see in the past. What is online analytical processing OLAP? OLAP, in some extensions, is a cube. It's cube not because it's like 3-dimension cube, it could be any number of dimensions. But the idea is some kind like cache data. And this cache data could be as a file or in memory. And one of the most popular tools in the past was Microsoft Analysis Services. And the Microsoft Analysis Services, this tool was built between your data warehouse, for example, SQL Server on-premise, that time it was only on-premise, and reporting service or Excel spreadsheets as a BI tool where people can access the data. And because Excel doesn't have any capabilities of caching data, and reporting service also doesn't really cache the data, the Microsoft came up with solution. I think they even, I don't know, did they build themselves or where is coming tool coming from, but they need basically coming something in between data warehouse and our report, something that can cache data. And they create this tool that calls Microsoft Analysis Services. And this is for example of the query. I actually forgot where I took this. And one of the downside, if we look to here, there are basically two cube types, because we decided cube some kind of like cache data, and it could be even cached as a file, right? For example, Tableau extract, this is cube. Now it's basically, we know that Tableau acquired Hyper, some columnar database inside that store all your data, and we connect it to this. But it's still somehow persistent data, and that data that extracted from the database, and now it's pre-aggregated and cached, and then you can very quickly connect the BI tool and slice and dice. And there are obviously pros and cons of this, but let's look now to the cube types. There is MOLAP, multidimensional cube, and ROLAP. MOLAP, its typical solution is analysis service, Microsoft Analysis Services. The idea that you even have the tool that like designer, where you can design your hierarchies. If you ever work with spreadsheets with cross table, you can basically connect this kind of cube, and then you can start drill down, right? You can expand the category, and like your cross table can expand in spreadsheets. It's very typical use case for Microsoft spreadsheets, and many people in finance, some analysts, they like to use it. And usually the company who leverage those kinds of approach, they really lean and they don't invest a lot in data warehouse. And as a coincidence, they have low salary. Very often I can see that if the data team and data organization not really invest in the tools, and they have like spreadsheets, whatever, it means they will offer you half of what you actually can get with the modern tools. So the tools, on one hand, they doesn't really matter to deliver the value, because the spreadsheets in Excel, you can deliver more insights even with like very fancy and expensive tools. But the organization who using those kind of tools, they're very lean. They don't invest money on this. They don't have resources. And unfortunately, their salary is low. On the other hand, the company that using Snowflake, dbt, Tableau, Looker, obviously they will pay really good compensation. That's another tip how you can see, okay, is it this company have low ball and this is like good salary. We understood that there is MOLAP is some kind of cube that we can create design hierarchies, and then we can create the cube so they cache the data. And if we want to connect this cube and navigate and maybe query this, we couldn't use traditional structure query language SQL or SQL. We should use language MDX. And this is unfortunately not very nice to learn. You need to learn Python, you need to learn SQL, dbt, so many different tools. You don't need to invest your time to learn MDX, but it is what it is. You just need to know that it's there. On the other hand, like we already discussed in the last lesson about sub-business object universes or Tableau models or even like MicroStrategy, this relational cube. Then you create Tableau data model, you have multiple tables, you join together, or maybe universe, you have multiple tables and join together. You create relational cube, roll-up. And it means that then you have these joins, the database will create the SQL query every time you run. If I have live connection and I need product and sales, my BI tool will generate query, product, join sales, some columns we choose like dimensions measures, submit to database, get result, and this result will be some kind of cache, and we can start slice and dice this. If you want to extract all the data, create a kind of extract, we can do this as well. Instead of live connection, we can switch to extract option. This is our data model. All the data will be extracted. This is, for example, how Tableau extract is working. In Power BI also, you can use live connection, you can use extract. On the other hand, Metabase or Sigma BI, Metabase doesn't have any extract. Sigma BI, they have limited options of materialization. Looker has some cache option, but it's not the same as a Tableau extract. That's why it's important to understand what's happening under the hood. And then the question, does it necessary to learn OLAP and MDX? And this is my personal opinion, only if you want to be an expert in Microsoft BI solutions, because they have analysis service. They even have analysis services in Azure. When I used to work in Microsoft, one advantage was to leverage analysis services, because you can leverage your semantic model, all your metrics, define analysis services, and you can connect to repository. So you can kind of have similar experience with Looker, then all your code and all your BI tools are available in as a code. And you have the options for MOLAP, and tabular model is probably what is now popular thing. And of course, from Microsoft perspective and Azure perspective, their goal to upsell you not only Power BI, but actually sell the Azure analysis service as well. They are suite including integration services, ETL tool, Power BI, SQL Server, T-SQL and Azure Cloud, like with Synapse and Fabric. If you deep dive in Microsoft and you want to be Microsoft certified BI developer or beyond this, then probably it's worth. Other this, I don't know that you need to learn this. That's it for this lesson. And the next lesson, we will dive deep into what is BI and what key elements consist. And we can take any BI tool on the market. They all have the same things. Thank you.